Hello everybody and welcome to what I can promise will be an epic Grimdark future battle report between Lieutenant Gabriel and his prime brothers and the dreaded robot lord and his robot legions. Lieutenant Gabriel was exhausted and marked after the battle with Kaligor. He was aware of a coming attack and knew he had to do everything to hold the enemy back, but he was heavily outnumbered. He was expecting alien hives, but instead, the marching robots of the robot legions led by a merciless Warden continued to come forward on the other side of the city square. The forces of the robot lord were determined to reclaim control of Crapus 4. It was Lieutenant Gabriel's job to deny them. He had called for support, but his only hope was a group of raider brothers nearby. Maybe not near enough. The battle was about to begin. Let's check out the units. First here, the robot warden and his unit of warrior reapers. They are armed with reaper rifle and he has royal march, which will ignore the slow rule. Next up, an regular unit of reapers, also with reaper rifles. And then a third unit of warriors with gauss rifles. Then we have the dreaded Tri-Scorpions, two of them armed with dual Reaper blades and one with heavy Reaper blade, and they have toughness 3. And finally, the Tripod Walker, armed with 2 weapons, the Rapid Particle Beam and twin Gauss rifles. It's also Strider, and it has a toughness of 6. Here we have Lieutenant Gabriel and his unit of prime brothers. They are armed with auto rifles, 4 of them, and 1 of them with heavy rifle. They all have close combat weapons, except one of them who has an energy hammer. Lieutenant Gabriel himself is armed with energy sword and plasma pistol, and he has shield wall and precision shots that will give an extra AP1 when shooting. Then we have an assault squad. They are armed with energy swords and heavy pistols, except one of them with plasma pistol, and they have medical training that allow them to regenerate. The army of the robots will deploy in Section B, and Lieutenant Gabriel and his prime brothers will deploy in Section A. And here we have a top view of the battlefield with 3 objectives. Number 1 in the lower left corner of the battlefield, objective 2 in the middle, and 3 in the top right corner. Each objective will give 1 victory point to the army that controls it at the end of turn 4. Both armies also have the Headhunter side mission. That means that if the Warden or Lieutenant Gabriel is killed, 1 additional victory point is earned. The robot legions have deployed here on the upper left side of the battlefield, and the outnumbered prime brothers have deployed here in the lower right corner. Lieutenant Gabriel and his unit here in cover inside the building. So let's roll off to see who will activate first. Red dice for the robot legions and black dice for the prime brothers. 5 to the legions and 1 to Gabriel. That means the robot legions activate first. And first activation of this battle is the Warden and his unit of warriors. They rush forward, and he has the Royal March ability, so they are not slow and they can move the full 12 inches. Next round, Lieutenant Gabriel and his unit of prime brothers move 6 inches in cover behind this ruined spacecraft. And from here, they will be able to see the robot Warden and his unit here through the windows of the building. And they can fire auto rifles and heavy rifles because Lieutenant Gabriel is out of sight. The black dice for the auto rifles and the yellow dice for the heavy rifle. And here we have quite a good deal of hits. And with the precision shot ability of Gabriel, they are AP1 more than they usually are. So the robots need 5 and 6s to defend, and they will defend nothing here. So 5 wounds. They still have a chance to regenerate though, but also here, nothing, and that means 5 warriors go down. And that means the Warden is the only one left in the unit, and he has to make a morale check, which is good. Next up, the Tri-Scorpions here. They rush towards objective number 1 and seize it here in the lower left part of the battlefield. And they also remain in cover behind the crates. The assault squad here make a tactical approach towards the Tri-Scorpions. From here they can fire 5 shots, 4 with heavy pistols and 1 plasma shot. Yellow dice will be the plasma pistol, and they will need 4s to hit. Not the best roll here. 2 hits with heavy pistols. It's an AP1 weapon. The Tri-Scorpions have 3 in defense, so they will need 4s, and one of them is good, the other one fails, so potentially 1 wound, but again a chance to regenerate here. And the wound disappears again. The next unit of warriors with Reaper rifles march forward, and from this position they are just in range with their weapon, and they take shots at the assault squad. And the assault squad will be in cover, so they will need 4s to hit with the 5 shots. And they hit 2 of the shots. And the Reaper rifles are AP2, so the assault squad will need 4s to save. So 1 save and 1 goes through, and that means 1 assault prime brother down. Next activation is the monstrosity of the tripod walker, and it moves towards the central objective of the battlefield, and from here it can fire the twin Gauss rifles, 2 shots, needing 4s to hit, because the assault squad still has the benefit of cover, so no hits. And in the heat of the battle, an unlikely sight caught Lieutenant Gabriels' attention. A squad of Battle Sisters emerged behind the ruins and moved forward to aid him in battle against the robots. A squad of Battle Sisters armed with heavy rifles and 1 with plasma rifle and energy sword, and led by High Sister Adelia with fusion pistol and energy sword. And all of them have celestial infantry that gives +1 melee and shooting. So they fire 5 weapons, 4 heavy rifles and the yellow dice for the plasma rifle. And that is a total of 4 hits against the unit of warriors. So now the Robot Legion warriors will have to defend, and they defend the plasma shot, but the 3 heavy rifle shots go through, so potentially we have 3 more warriors down. Let's see if they can regenerate. And 1 of them will regenerate, and that means 2 warriors leave the squad. And finally, the remaining group of warriors move forward, but they are out of shooting range. And that concludes the first round of this battle. The Robot Legions have taken control of objective number 1, an important step towards victory, but on the other hand, the Warden is alone on the upper right of the battlefield because his unit has been blasted out of the game by Lieutenant Gabriel. And then the Battle Sisters and High Sister Adelia unexpectedly showed up to aid the Prime Brothers. Now let's see how this battle continues in round number 2. Lieutenant Gabriel called for their support, and now they are here. A raider squad, all armed with close combat weapons and 1 energy sword and 5 heavy pistols. They use their orbital drop ambush ability to deploy 9 inches away from the nearest enemy here at the edge of the battlefield. And they immediately activate. Since the Prime Brothers finished first in the last round, they will activate first in this round. So the Raiders charge against the Tri-Scorpions. They normally have 3 close combat attacks, but since they are furious, they will get an extra, which is a total of 20 attacks, divided into 2 groups of 10 each. First 5 hits, and then the second group, they need force to hit, so an additional 3 hits for a total of 8 hits on the Tri-Scorpions. The Tri-Scorpions need force to defend and 6s for the rending attacks with the energy sword. And all in all, they manage to defend and block 4 of the hits. 3 of them can be regenerated, so let's see. And 1 of them is regenerated. That is a total of 3 wounds, and that means 1 of the Tri-Scorpions leave the battlefield. The 2 remaining Scorpions decide to strike back against the Raider squad, 1 with dual Reaper Blade red dice and 1 with heavy Reaper Blade yellow dice. And here we have a good deal of hits. First, the Raiders will have to defend the heavy Reaper Blade, needing 6s, and all 4 go through. Then the dual Reaper Blades with 5s, and also a complete failure here. So all 5 Raiders that just arrived are taken out of the battle. After the gruesome fate of the Raiders, the 3 remaining warriors with Reaper rifles here move forward and fire against the Battle Sisters. And they need force to hit, so 2 hits, and the Battle Sisters will need a 6 to defend because it's AP2 weapons, and they don't defend any of the hits. That means 2 Battle Sisters go down. The Battle Sisters immediately react. They jump down from the building, still in cover behind the ruined wall here, and they fire 2 heavy rifle shots and 1 plasma rifle shot against the warriors, hitting all of them. Now the warriors will have to defend, and they miss the plasma and also 1 of the heavy rifle shots. So 2 warriors are hit and wounded, but they can regenerate, and they do, so none of them are hit. Things are turning out great for the robot legions at the moment, and the Warden here decides to attack Gabriel and his Prime Brothers alone. He fires his heavy Reaper rifle, needing force to hit, so he manages to hit once, and it's an AP2 weapon, so the Prime Brothers will need a 4 to defend. And with a 1 Prime Brother is hit and killed. One of the key points for the Prime Brothers in this battle is to strike the Tri-Scorpions and try to gain control of objective number 1. And since the Tri-Scorpions already have fought, they charge. They need 3s to hit, all of them with energy swords. 7 hits, none of them are rending, so the Scorpions will need a 4-up save because of the AP1 of the energy swords. And they make all of them except for 2. And those 2 can be regenerated, so let's see if they manage to do that. And they do. Not a single wound. Tri-Scorpions are fatigued, but they fight back anyway, needing 6 to hit. And luckily for the assault squad, no hits this time. Now the tripod walker activates. It moves forward and seizes the objective. It has the Strider ability, so it can move on the rubble unhindered, and now it's in range with both the rapid particle beam with yellow dice and the twin Gauss rifle with red dice, firing all of it at the Battle Sisters. The Battle Sisters will need a 4 on the yellow dice and a 5 on the black dice here. So they save the twin Gauss rifle shots, but all the rapid particle beams go through. So 3 sisters are down, and that leaves High Sister Adelia alone on the battlefield, and she will have to take a morale test. And the High Sister is tough. Gabriel and his squad advance forward here, and they fire all they've got against the Warden. So first 6 shots with the auto rifles, and they need 4s to hit. A few hits here, then 1 shot with the heavy rifle with the yellow dice. Misses, and then Lieutenant Gabriel and his plasma pistol, it's a hit. The Warden will need a 6 on the yellow dice to save the plasma shot and 3s to save the others. So the plasma shot and 1 auto rifle shot is saved. 2 hits unless he regenerates, and he does 1 of the hits. So all in all, 1 wound to the Warden. The fierce battle of Objective 1 is still going on. The Tri-Scorpions have activated and are fatigued, but they tried to charge anyway, needing 6s to hit, and they miss every single one. The Assault Brothers are also fatigued, so they will also need 6s, and there are 2 6s, so 2 hits coming in at the Tri-Scorpions, who will need 3s to defend, so 1 is good, the other one results in a wound unless, once again, they regenerate. Finally, the squad of warriors with gauss rifles move forward. They have slightly longer range, but they still can't see or hit anyone, so they try to position themselves better for the next round. That was the end of round number 2. We have a battle going on surrounding Objective 1. The Tripod Walker have control of Objective 2, and in the upper right corner there is also a battle surrounding Objective 3. But the Raider squad that just arrived are obliterated, and so are most of the Battle Sisters. Let's proceed to round number 3. High Sister Adelia activates first. She needs to get away from the heat of the battle, and she moves towards the Warden in cover behind the building. And from here, she is within 6 inches of her fusion pistol. And besides Celestial Infantry, she also has the Devout ability, and that means she hits on a 2. And it's a 3, so a hit on the Warden. It's an AP4 weapon with the Deadly ability. So the Warden will need a 6, and he gets a 5. And that means that he is hit with 1 hit multiplied with 3 because of Deadly, and that's a total of 4. So that means the end for the Warden. High Sister Adelia has taken out the Robot Legion's leader. The unit of 3 warriors with Reaper rifles advance, and from here they can fire 3 shots at Lieutenant Gabriel and his Prime Brothers. They need 4s to hit, so 2 hits, and with an AP2 of the weapons, the Prime Brothers will need 4s to defend. And that's 1 fail and 1 success, and that means 1 Prime Brother leaves the battlefield. Next up, the Assault Squad continue their quest to control the objective, and they do so by charging the 2 remaining Tri-Scorpions with a total of 12 attacks with energy swords. And we have 9 hits, 2 of them are rending, which means they are AP4 and can't be regenerated. So with the yellow dice for the rending hits and the red dice for the rest, the Tri-Scorpions managed to save all but 5 of the hits. And that means 1 Tri-Scorpion goes down and the remaining receives 2 wounds. Now let's see if any of the wounds can be regenerated. Not the rending hit, but the 4 remaining hits, and not even 1 of the wounds are regenerated. So one Tri-Scorpion remains and it can fight back. And it really does fight back here. 3 hits with the Heavy Reaper Blade. The Assault Squad will need 6s to defend this Heavy Reaper Blade attack. And there is at least 1, and the 2 other defense rolls fail, so that means 2 brothers go down unless they regenerate, and 1 of them does because of the medical training. So final result is that 1 prime brother leaves the battlefield. But the Tri-Scorpion unit lost the battle and has to take a morale test, and with the robot ability that means 1 dice, and with a 1 or a 2 it fails and goes down, but this was a success and it stays in combat. The unit of robot warriors with gauss rifles haven't done much in the battle yet, but now they approach and they are within shooting range of the assault squad. So they fire 5 hits with their gauss rifles, needing 4s, 2 regular hits and 1 rending. And that means it's a 6-up save for the rending shot and a 3-up save for the 2 regular shots. It's an AP1 weapon. And 1 of the shots is saved, the other 2 go through. And 1 of them is the rending, so it can't be regenerated, but the last one can. And they don't do it, so 2 wounds and 2 assault brothers down. The remaining squad leader will have to take a morale test. He is fearless, so he fails with a 1. And with a 6, he is clearly good. With the Warden out of the way, Gabriel and his squad can now advance and fire all they've got against the tripod walker. And that means 4 shots with auto rifles, the black dice, 1 shot with heavy rifle, yellow die, and 1 shot with Gabriel's plasma pistol, the white die. All of them hitting on 4s. So, a couple of hits, but definitely not impressive. The tripod walker has a defense of 2, but it will need a 3 because of the precision shot ability of Gabriel. And that means 1 failed save and 1 wound, and it cannot regenerate. But it can fire back with the particle beam and the twin gauss rifles. So red dice for the particle beam, yellow dice for the rifle. And it will need a 4 to hit because they are still in cover behind the wall. And that means a 2-up save on the yellow die and a 3-up save on the black dice for the prime brothers. So let's see. The yellow one fails and the black ones are good. So 1 twin gauss rifle shot go through and 1 prime brother is down. So once again the unit will have to make a morale test and barely succeeds with a 2 only because of the fearless ability. Now back to the fierce battle of Objective 1. The Tri-Scorpion is fatigued, but it will attack anyway, needing 6s. And here we have all missed hits. And then the assault brother, also fatigued, will fight back, needing 6s, and also he fails all attacks. And that is the end of the 3rd round. The Tri-Scorpion is wounded but still alive and battling the lonely assault squad leader around Objective 1. And he also has to face the threat from the approaching warriors. The tripod walker is also very much alive and in control of Objective 2, thinning out the prime brothers. But the High Sister took out the Warden and she is close to Objective number 3. So nothing is yet decided. Let's go to the final round. Prime Brothers activate first, and the assault squad leader makes a final desperate attack to take out the Tri-Scorpion. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, and that means all 3 of them will hit. It's AP1, So the Triscorpion will need force to defend, and at least 2 of them, but not the final one, is a success. So 1 wound will go through, but since the Triscorpion can regenerate, we'll have to wait and see. And with a 4, it's not enough. And that's a total of 3 wounds to the Triscorpion. So he is finally taken out by the squad leader, and he consolidates towards Objective 1 and seizes the objective. The Tripod Walker continues to relentlessly fire at the Prime Brothers and Gabriel, again firing 6 shots with the rapid particle beam and 2 twin Gauss rifles hitting on 3s. And that's a lot of hits. And now the 2 Prime Brothers and Gabriel will have to defend. And in the end they manage to block all hits except for 1. So 1 Prime Brother leaves the battlefield. And again it means that the unit will have to take a morale test. They are way below half strength. So let's see if they still continue the fight. And with a roll of 3, the fearless Prime Brothers stay in the game. And now Gabriel plans a risky move. He knows that they won't be able to take down the Tripod Walker with a toughness of 6 and only 1 wound. Instead, they charge around it and charge the unit of 3 warriors. And by doing so, they also position themselves within 3 inches of Objective 2. So it's now contested by both. And then 3 attacks with Energy Sword and 2 with the Energy Hammer. And the Energy Hammer has the blast ability, so it's multiplied with 3. And that means a total of 6 hits coming in against the warriors. Energy Hammer is AP nothing and will need force to defend, so 1 fail. And the Energy Sword is AP 1 and will need 5s, so again 1 fail. A total of 2 wounds coming in, and we will have to see if they can regenerate. And one of them does and the other one does not. So 1 warrior down. Now they can fight back with 2 close combat attacks hitting on 3s. And they both hit. And it's AP nothing, so the Prime Brothers will need only 2 to defend. And they are fine here. So the result of this battle is that the warriors lost, and now they will make a check. And since they are robots, they will need a 1 or a 2 to leave, and they passed that test just fine. The group of warriors with Gauss rifles changed their priority. Now they fire all they've got against Gabriel, with a hope of taking him down as well as the Warden. So they fire 5 shots. They are AP nothing, but they are rending, so needing force here, they hit 2 regular hits and 1 rending. So that's a 6 up save on the yellow die and a 2 up save on the black dice. Now let's see. The 2 black ones are saved, but the rending shot goes through, and the final Prime Brother of this unit is taken out. So Lieutenant Gabriel is on his own now, and since he's part of the unit, he will have to pass a morale test. And again, barely with a 2, but still good enough. Finally, the High Sister activates, and she seizes the 3rd objective and is now in control of that. Final activation for the Robot Legions are the 2 remaining warriors with Reaper rifles. They are fatigued, so they decide to shoot instead of fight, but that is just not good enough. Gabriel will live and win this battle. Because the Prime Brothers control Objective 1 and Objective 3, and they contest Objective 2. So that's 2 victory points for the Prime Brothers and 1 for the Legions. But they also get an additional victory point because they took out the Robot Warden. Gabriel is victorious, and now the robot legions disappear as fast as they came. Lieutenant Gabriel has proven himself to Prime Brother's supreme command, but the victory was not without heavy casualties, and he also has a huge thanks to High Sister Adelia and her unit of Battle Sisters who aided him in combat. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you'll join me for future bat reps.